First up is going to be a tweet from someone who's not even a Magic fan, but they clearly know basketball.
Okay.
And this is from Rockets Culture. His name is, I believe, RC. No idea what the RC stands for. But his tweet essentially says, the Magic have the best young core out of the rebuilding teams, and I really don't think it's close. And I got to be honest, I agree. So the reason why I brought this up is I want to know from the court cousins. I'm pretty sure you guys agree Orlando's the best. However, let's think about the young cores out there from teams where like maybe the average age is 22 and under. That would essentially mean we're thinking about Oklahoma City, the Orlando Magic, the Pistons, the Pacers, and the Rockets. Think about those 5 teams. How would you rank them 1 through 5?
You want to go on this one first, or am I taking that?
Well, it's tough with these new parameters because I was prepared to agree with the guy whose name I dislike, which is Rookie of the Year Scotty Barnes, who commented underneath that he thought the Pels have the best young core because they really do have a lot of great young players.
Yeah.
But they're not really all under 22, so that doesn't really fit for this. So for those teams that you put out there, I think I would have to go with us because I think Paulo is the best player of all the ones. But I like what the Pistons are doing. And you could make an argument for them being like 1 or 1A in this scenario. So I think I would probably go with us at 1 because I think Franz and Paulo, even if they're the only 2 good ones that qualify for this under 22 in their thing, I think their body of work will be better than the 3 or 4 guys that qualify for this from the Pistons.
Oh man, if you would have asked me this question a couple weeks ago before you've taken some of these really egregious L's, I would have been hardcore in our camp, but it's tough to overlook a team like Indiana who is putting together win after win with young guys. I mean,
Right.
Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, if you pronounce it the French Canadian way, Benedict Mathurin.
I prefer that. So thank
As
you.
we do,
Yeah.
and
Is that true? Is that how you say it?
That's
Yeah, he's from Montreal.
He's Canadian, so yeah, it would be Mathurin. But
Nice.
so I really like they're winning. I can't. It's tough for me to argue with the 11-8 Pacers and say that our guys are better when we're not getting wins. Now
It's about the core, not the team and how they're providing, because the guys around them are a little more seasoned. So I was trying to not.
I get that. I get that. But who exactly is? On the Pacers core that were just like Buddy Hield. They also have Chris Duarte, who would be in that young core, Benedict Mathurin and Tyrese Halliburton against our Paulo and Franz. I'm taking those guys. I'm definitely taking Paulo and Franz. What about you, WeltGawd? While I continue to gather my thoughts over here.
Yeah, he says Magic is 1, but who's 2?
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth with that because, like, to me, 2 can either be – I think 2 for me, it's almost a tie between the Pistons and Oklahoma City. And when I mean by 22, because you're going to say, well, I'm going to bring up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right?
Yep.
He's obviously 24, but when I meant core of 22, I meant like if you take the average age of the core, do they average around 22, right? So you could argue – well, I don't think it's an argument right now. If you said who's the best player of those 5 teams I just mentioned, it's definitely him, right? SGA
right now
is definitely the best player. However, he's 4 years older than Paolo Banchero.
Right.
Was SGA doing what Paolo Banchero was doing, at 19 years old?
No.
No.
Yeah, he was not. So I'm sorry, Thunder fans, if you're listening right now, get out of my mentions. Yes, I agree. SGA is better right now, but he is not better at 19 than Paolo was, right? And that's what that's usually my point there.
There are Thunder fans?
Yeah. You have no idea.
I was going to say, I went so hard on Chet Holmgren, I'm surprised they didn't pop up in mine. So I didn't think they existed.
Well, what you got to do if you want to get him out, just make fun of Josh Giddey. That's how you bring him out.
Okay. I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, they didn't anyone but Chet. That was before they picked them, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that's just a little pro tip if you want to speak to them.
All right.
Same thing about Josh Giddey. But I'm probably going to go with the Pistons, man, for number 2 anyway. Like, I really like Cade Cunningham. I love Franz Wagner. Arguably he's top 3. I think he's top 3 in last year's draft. I probably still would have Cade Cunningham number 1 right? So when you look at him, Jaden Ivey, Duran, Sadiq Bey, I mean, that's a solid group. So I'd probably put Pistons number 2. I put OKC number 3 if I'm ranking them, just because of SGA. SGA's he's doing superstar numbers right now. I mean, he's amazing. So we'll see what he looks like once Chet Holmgren comes back, right? And I know they got some other injured players that are coming back. They might be looking good. I'd have the Rockets 4.
Yeah.
The reason why I have the Rockets 4, they may not have like a Paolo or a Cade on their team or an SGA,
Well, Jalen
but they're
Green.
Jalen Green to me is like that second best player on a championship team kind of guy. Okay. Who knows? Maybe he develops. He is that best player. But to me, he's like a James Harden. Like, would you guys say James Harden is best player on a championship team?
Not this year. Not this year. Maybe.
I mean, at every point, at any time.
Not really at any time. I would say that. I mean, he's the best player on the team, but not a team that's going to win a championship. He's not a championship player.
I think he was the year that they lost to the Golden State Warriors when Chris Paul went down and they were leading that series, 3-2 or something.
Oh, well, that's when he was in his Thunder prime. Yeah, but that's
that
also
was the Rockets.
The Rockets?
Yeah, I think Jalen Green can get there. I like also, and Pich is going to hate this, the witch doctor himself, Alperen Şengün, who torched us. I mean, that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's fantastic. Like he just looks like a veteran. The footwork that he has, the composure that he has. I don't think the guy's vertical is more than like 4.5 inches, 5 inches, but he's always in the right place.
Right.
And I like what they have right there. Tari Eason is someone that they really like. Jabari Smith Jr., the Orlando Magic #1 overall pick, is a guy that, he was mocked there for a reason. He's going to be a good shooter at some point. He hasn't really turned it around this year, but that's something nice that they're building there as well.
Yeah, the Rockets, and that was my point there. You can almost put them 2, in my opinion, too, because they're so deep. They have so much talent. Like, they may not have the guy, but who's Kevin Porter Jr. He's still relatively young. He's awesome. He's putting on buckets. Kenyon Martin Jr. is great too. Ty is great. Like, they're so deep when it comes to talent. Like, if they win Victor Wembanyama next year, they could easily be #1. And another thing I did too is this. Let's say you took off the best player from each team. So us, take away Paolo. Pistons, take away Cade. OKC, take away SGA. Rockets, take away Jalen Green. Right? I guess for the Pacers, you take away
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton. Exactly. Take away Halliburton. Look at it from that standpoint, who's got the best team, and I'd put Rockets. If you look at it that way, Rockets probably #2 because they're so deep.
Yeah. The Rockets are gonna have the problem that I think we're having right now, where they have a lot of really young guys, but at some point, when does that then amalgamate into an actual roster that competes night in, night out, and ceases to be, there's a compilation of really talented guys here? When will it actually
At some point,
congeal?
you have to put some veterans in with them, mix it up, and have like a good bench squad that's solid instead of guys you're just wondering if they're going to pan out.
Can you tell that we just watched the Magic lose to the 76ers by 30 points?
Oh, my God. Well, that was a brutal loss.
That wasn't even the 76ers. It was like the 72ers. They were missing half.
That's the worst part about it. We didn't lose to the 76ers. We lost to their third-string players.
It was bad. Yeah. Even Jeff Turner at the end of the game was like, well, it's hard for Philadelphia to put in the bench because the bench has already been playing the whole game. I'm like, thanks, Jeff.
Oh, man. But, yeah, a lot of really interesting, talented young rosters around the league. It's going to be interesting to see where Bananas ends up and how that.
I think it's great for the league that all these teams could be in this conversation, and someone could probably make the argument for a lot of these teams at 1 or 2, and you'd be willing to be like, sure. Mm-hmm. So that's great to know that these teams that are kind of at the bottom still have this kind of level of hope.
Yeah.
That's what the league wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's teams that aren't at the bottom. I mean, we're not talking about them in this conversation, but a team like the Grizzlies or the Pelicans who have really young stars. John Morant's like 23 years old. So the Grizzlies, I think, could definitely be in this conversation. They're actually winning basketball games.
Right. That's
which is arguably it is the most important attribute of players. Can they get the W? And we'll see. I think Paulo and Franz can, but it's been tough so far this year. So what's next?
Well, look, keep it.
No, sorry, homie.
Well, I was just going to say really quick. One thing, Magic fans, if you're listening, don't lose out hope. And please stop doing this. Stop thinking we've been rebuilding since Dwight left. I know that's kind of true, but it's kind of not true. We've been rebuilding since March 2021. That's been a year and a half of rebuilding. I know it feels like it's been a decade, but in reality, it didn't start until we traded Vooch for the most egregious trade of our generation. Like, I can't believe that happened. What a fleece. Yep. Amen, Jeff Weltman. You are the man for that trade, right?
Need to make a sign that says WeltGawd for president. That's going to be that.
I'd vote for Jeff Weltman for president.